All right, it's Ron Goodall from FightHype.com. I'm here with father and trainer of Devin Haney, Bill Haney. How's it going?
Let me get some water. Thank you for having me. Always, man. You know what I mean. To see you down here grinding like you always do, Rod. Giving it to FightHype. Raw and real. You know what I'm saying? Is always my pleasure, man.
Now, I was taking a peep at the Instagram live that you were in, and I was watching the Bivol, the Zone fight. You were internationally all over the place watching some fun fights. You were at the Bivol fight, right?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. We had an amazing time, bro, out there with the at the Bivol fight. Dubai, Abu Dhabi, all of them. Everyone just showed us so much love and support. Bivol, and that was a hell of a fight. You know what I mean? It was a hell of a fight. Bivol has shown why he's one of the top fighters in the world for sure.
Yeah, and being able to see his performance ringside after a few weeks before, having a performance somewhere just dominating, from start to end. Devin,
yes.
Some people.
This is water to drink.
Some people have been saying, fighter of the year. It's between Bivol, Devin,
Yeah. Well, that's always good to be in that kind of company. I heard Bivol, and I heard Devin, and also heard about Bam Rodriguez. He's a good young fighter, but I think that what Devin has done in particular, breaking down the barriers, both coming to a new promotional outfit, going to places that a lot of fighters don't go and do, going to someone's hometown, not only to win the belts from them, but also to go back and defend the belts. This hasn't happened ever in boxing, and I don't know when it's ever going to happen. So with taking all that in, Devin to me is the fighter of the year. Taking nothing away from Zurdo Ramirez, hell of a fighter, but he wasn't a world champion. And taking nothing from Canelo Alvarez, the victory that Bivol had against Canelo Alvarez, but he was coming up and he wasn't the champion. When you go take it from the champion at the champion's home, not once but then twice to do it, it's unprecedented, and it calls for Devin to be the fighter of the year. And it's no shot towards any of those other guys, because they're all tremendous fighters, and I'm a fan of both the other guys and their teams that's being considered.
Yeah, and it's not just your opinion, and obviously, they're all subjective in opinions and things like that. But the fact that these names are all mixed together with, you mentioned, Bam, Bivol, Devin, I think I've heard Jamel,
Clarissa.
I've
heard Clarissa Shields as well. I try to remember everybody and give shouts out to all of them, and I've always hoped and prayed that Devin will be mentioned as being one of the best amongst active fighters that do have big fights and good fights, and of course that Devin's performance sticks out enough that he's being considered the fighter of the year. We had some hell of a performance by a lot of great fighters, but you know what I mean. I don't mean to be biased, but I might be. But Devin to me is the fighter of the year.
Rightfully so. I know you mentioned that comment, okay, I might be biased, obviously, but what he did become the youngest undisputed in the 4-belt era, won over, it's regardless of whatever people's opinions, his name belongs in the conversation.
Well, yeah, and actually it's in the history books. You know what I mean? And to say that as well, and also be the youngest to join the history books. In the 4-belt era, and the youngest to do it since Pernell Whitaker. Everyone says a lot of things, you know what I mean? But you can't negate the fact that he had an awesome year. He had someone in him, a great fighter in Kambosos, because he showed the level of his talent when he went against Teofimo Lopez. Everyone wants to make excuses, but he offered Teofimo an opportunity to have a revenge match, have a rematch clause or whatever, right? Not a rematch clause, an actual rematch, I should say. And he didn't take him up on it. Then you had Lomachenko, who had an opportunity, but he went to the war. And no shade towards him because, you know, that was an honorable thing for him to do, is go to the war. But he's come out of the war to fight against what's that guy, Ortiz? Jermaine Ortiz. Jermaine Ortiz surprised everybody. Has a hell of a a hell of a team, and the Ortiz team, and everybody that I met on that team, man, were good, beautiful individuals, man. And the way that they're standing by him, and the way that they had the confidence in him, I almost started to believe that he was going to win. And he came out. He came out smoking, and he put on the kind of performance that deserves for him to be seen again. And you always want that to happen in this sport. You know, you want guys to be able to perform at a high level, but ultimately want to be seen again. And Lomachenko came out of the war and ran into him. He had an opportunity, like the WBC convention is coming up, and we'll be going to it. I know at least I will. I'm committed to going to it. And we went down there to the convention to fight Loma. Loma chose to go another direction. He took the franchise belt. Before that, we would have liked to fought him before the Luke Campbell fight.
Yep.
He took the Luke Campbell fight. Then he took the franchise. Then he didn't fight. And then he ran into a man by the name of Teofimo Lopez. Teofimo Lopez had a great night down there in, I believe, the Madison Square Garden, Hulu Arena. And he trumped Lomachenko. Lomachenko then went on to beat Richard Coleman, Nakatani, so on and so forth. We went to the WBO convention. We also went to Lomachenko's fight. And this is a fight that we know that the people want. Lomachenko has been built up to be something special. It's not anything personal. We feel that Devin is something special. And I believe that, you know, in the first quarter, you've heard by all intents that both Devin and Loma have said it in the ring. You've heard Bob talk about it outside the ring, of course. And right now I think that we're a lot closer to making this fight happen than we've ever been.
You know, one thing I wanted to talk about, because I think people forget some of the timeline things, that obviously you guys were next in line for the WBC and for the title, and Loma had titles and he was able to go compete for it, and while you guys were, in order for that vacant title. Now, you guys been wanting Lomachenko since then, and now you guys, after becoming undisputed, still want Lomachenko. Nothing's changed then, nothing's changed now.
The only thing that changes is that we got all the belts and we looking for you. He had all the belts, or he had some belts, and he said we had to become champion first to fight him. He said, go get some belts. Well, we got all the belts, and we came to his fight looking for him. Yeah. So, you hear other channels and everybody, you know what I mean, saying, everything that we haven't did, Paulie TV, Punch Drunk Boxing, don't listen to those guys. But anyway, we here, we hunting. Devin has been a hunter since he came in the game, and both him and I and our team knows that's what it takes to be on the Mount Rushmore of boxing. It's never about the 4 belts. It's never about the money. It's about Devin being mentioned with the greats of boxing one day. And to do that, you got to stay hunting.
With the performance he's been doing, it's been tremendous. I'm sure, with some of the benefit of doubt, a lot of people have been critical on Lomachenko or praising Ortiz's performance, or maybe a combination of both. Do you feel like Lomachenko kind of needed some of that rust off a little bit in that fight, or just, what was your overall assessment of that?
I don't know. I don't know. If you're on the pound for pound list, you shouldn't be rusty. Yeah, there shouldn't be any rusty fighters on the pound for pound list. Hello?
Mm-hmm. and rightfully so, you know, with these pound for pound lists. Isn't it strange that Devin has to continue to fight his way into it, knowing that, you know, he has...
Listen, I told you, we're fighting for legacy. We're fighting for Devin to be on the Mount Rushmore of boxing amongst the greats. So any accolade that we can get now, any critique that we can get now, it's all too early, right? We still have a lot to prove in boxing. We're going to be around for a long time, inshallah.
Absolutely. And you know, and the fact that he's currently the man at 135, you know, some people are just curious on, you know, as a growing young boy, how, you know, after the Lomachenko fight, how long do we see, you know, the son Devin staying at that division, or is just unknown at the moment?
Well, growing young man, what you meant to say, but he's growing both inside and outside the ring, both his skill set and in business. That's why it's very important for me to always let the people know how good we feel about what he's doing to push this sport forward. What he's doing to not just cross the streets to take the fights, but cross the streets to make the fights. And take an initiative to go to the Middle East, what we consider a part of the world that we find near and dear to us because we're devout Muslims. You know, we weren't born Muslim, and a lot of the brothers and sisters that are in the Middle East have been born Muslim. So, you know, we constantly learn a lot more things, and to hear the Adhan being called every time to prayer, just everywhere in the cities and stuff like that, for us is amazing. And if we can go out there and fight, of course, it would be a dream of a lifetime.
You know, and seeing the fact that you guys have made what, you know, moved around and whatever you guys needed to do. Like, we went from, like, fighting on Showtime, you know, being on Matchroom and DAZN, top-ranked ESPN. It's just when opportunities presents itself, or business sense, it makes sense for you guys to go where it needs to go.
It's never about business. Of course, the business will follow. If you're really serious about this sport and you really want to push the sport forward, make the best fights happen, and do, like I say, do the things of the greats, then everything is going to fall in line. You know, going to different platforms to fight in different times, that's just what you got to do. You know what I mean? A lot of fighters do it and don't have the business together while doing it, but they shouldn't be shamed. They should be praised as well, because they're doing everything to push the sport forward as well. They're doing, it's the guys, to me, and individuals that claim that the sport is they claim that they have integrity in the sport. They claim that they want to push our sport forward, but then they're not willing to make the fights, or not willing to negotiate with the people to make the fights happen that the people want to see. That's, to me, a double standard that needs to be addressed, and not by the media, but actually by the people that are in this boxing, that are in the sport, to get together collectively and say, okay, you know, we gotta make this thing grow. You know what I mean? And not hold it back. And I think, you know, us not working together holds it back. Us working together, then it's enough in it for everybody.
And I guess that leads to my, you know, question, because, you know, you guys done what it needed to do to make a lot of these fights, and, you know, there's been some public, you know, stuff with Crawford and Spence. I know you guys have a great relationship with both, so obviously it's not going to be like you're picking sides, but just what's your overall, did you get to see some like the Crawford IG and the Spence tweets and all that a little bit?
Yeah, but I never pass judgment on any of the stuff that I per se get a chance to see in social media, because I know it's a business side behind it that's not on social media necessarily. And if you don't have a Crawford or a Spence negotiating publicly together, and not just a tweet here and a tweet there and a tweet there, then, you know what I mean, the messages to me get distorted, right? I don't know who sent what, who this one, this kind, the actual timeline of it, because I'm so busy in the Devin Haney business that I don't really know that, you know what I mean? So I'll hear something and hear this, and I'm not quick to pass judgment on neither.
And just taking your expertise, just when do you know, like, when to take, like, all right, hold your position and know your value, and maybe take a sacrifice at times? Like, you guys clearly made a sacrifice to get the undisputed fight. you know, due to, a lot of people felt like it was the short end. You know, you guys probably deserved a lot more. And that, when do you know, like, all right, I'm gonna hold my ground, I'm the A side essentially in this, or it's okay to, you know, negotiate and take these sacrifices? Like, when do you know, and how do you take those chances?
I mean, the A side to me is the, hey man, I don't want to fight. For real,
Really?
For real. You gotta pay me, man. You know, when you with that A side bullshit, I'm the A side. You're gonna make all these demands because you're not 100% sure that the best is ahead of you. Mm-hmm. With us, we still feel the best is ahead of us. So let's make it happen. You know what I'm saying? Let's make these things happen. It's not about A side or B side or whatever. You know, it's about delivering the best fight to the people. And I think that the person that's the A side, meaning aggressively trying to make the fight happen, is the person that should be celebrated and not the person that's holding it back.
So you feel like in most cases someone usually has to like lead the offer or kind of present the offer?
Yeah, to get out and do the things to make it happen. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I think that what me and Devin are doing now is, you know what I mean, being an example of not just wanting to take the fight and having demands and demands that your partners feel are unreal. You know what I mean? You go out and do the things and try to negotiate and bring everything together so it can work. You know what I mean? And if you're not doing that, then you can be an A side. But if you're not trying to make the things happen, then what are you really an A side? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
You know, and seeing everything goes well with like the Lomachenko fight, and you guys progress and defend the titles again, as well as being undisputed.
Oh, you know, Lomachenko gonna get more money with us than he done got ever with anybody. You see what I'm saying? And that's the one thing that you take a pride on is Devin is 23, and the fighters, no matter what they say, right, they always get a good payday.
Good or the best
payday? This is not good or best. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? But and all they got to do is be better than the last. You know, and we got that for you, Aegis. Loma, you know what I mean? Yeah, we got more than the last, you dig? No, I'm just talking stuff, right? But I am talking stuff with all seriousness that this fight is something that that, you know, I'm happy and I'm ecstatic about. Loma is a two Olympic gold medal having 3-division world champ on the pound for pound list, and he's conceivably the next opponent for Devin. I'm ecstatic about it, you know what I mean? You know, let's make it happen. There's no reasons for it not to happen. You know, there's no other opponent that we're looking at it, and he's not looking at nobody. So, you know, all the people behind the scenes, you know, get a chance to talk about it, and I'm not. I know that I won't be given the opportunity to make the announcement. You know what I'm saying? But as soon as it's announced, I'm coming back talking shit.
Are we potentially? I guess 3 ideal venues. It's like either somewhere in Vegas, New York, Madison Square Garden, or maybe a hometown fight. Like, am I hitting close? Maybe one of the 3,
or maybe you got to fly even farther.
Really?
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay. So,
yeah.
All right.
Yeah, maybe. Like I said, you know, we're doing everything that we can as a company. Devin as a fighter, to make it happen. You know what I'm saying? So that's all that I'm really happy about. And we got we got a company in Top Rank that's willing to do it. Of course, we got a broadcaster in ESPN that's interested, that loves the idea of it. You know what I mean? Has been behind both Devin and George Cambosos 1 and 2. So for all intent purposes, it's all the right players are involved, and now it's just about the X's and the O's, the dotting the I's and crossing the T's.
You know, with a win over Lomachenko, do you feel like people are going to find an excuse, like, and in a sense of not giving the son credit, if you know, or you think it's like finally like, all right?
No, that's just part of it. It's Lomachenko is next, so we don't look at it like that. We don't want to put the horse before the carriage. You know what I mean, about what people are going to think. First and foremost is tackling someone like that, and they have a great team. You know, his dad is a tremendous coach. I met Usyk. You know, he's a really nice guy. You know what I mean, and a hell of a talent. So for all intent purposes, you know what I mean, they have a great team over there. You know what I mean? And it's about just being good on that night. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And we look forward to it.
Now, and just my last couple questions, just in regards of, obviously, you guys have always went out to, try to make the fights and went all over the place and done what it takes and continued.
Yes.
There's a slight chance, or maybe a big chance, we'll find out in the future if maybe a Tank-Ryan fight happens. Obviously, you guys wanted Ryan, you guys wanted Tank. If that fight doesn't happen, is that like a big blow to boxing? And does it also kind of like foreshadow what potentially might happen when you guys try to make the fights with them in the near future? Like, is there any hope that maybe that if they can't get it done?
Well, right now we're concentrating on finalizing the Lomachenko thing. So, whoever those guys are fighting, you know what I mean? So power, power to them. If they can make the fight happen, of course, that's great. If they do something else, you know what I mean, and the opportunity presents to fight Devin, God willing, inshallah, after he gets through with this thing, then, we'll entertain and talk about it. But right now, I really don't have no comment about it until it gets announced. It's been something that everyone has been talking about, and I wish them both well, and hope that they can come to some kind of agreement.
Of course. And then, of course, my last question.
But guess what, though?
Oh, go ahead.
I'm not in the Tank business. I'm in the dream business.
Okay.
Tank, you take care of Ryan now. You've been saying you're going to tighten him up. I don't want letting Ryan to come in there and upset you. But guess what, though? Ryan, you've been saying you've been wanting Tank. I know your family. I know all of you guys. This is the kind of moment that you guys been preparing for. So, with that said, may the best team win. You know what I mean? And I'll be pulling for both of you guys on that night.
Of course. And seeing the fact that your son's been around all these fighters for so many years, you've been around the parents and all these guys, and and it's mind-boggling probably for you just to see everyone succeeding like with your son and all this stuff, and just seeing that there's always this person that's a little bit smaller, and it's not like it's on purpose. Shakur's mentioned it many times, but it's just everyone always feels like the most technical, fight would be between like Devin and Shakur. And
oh man, listen, Shakur is a bad motor scooter. You got Jerron Ennis, who's dynamite. You got Stephen Fulton, but he's a little bit older. He's dynamite. I mean, man, you got so many of them young guys, man, that came out of that same group of guys, man. I wish all them guys well, man. Listen, boxing is in a good place, man, and I'm happy to be a part of it.
Awesome. Well, look, I appreciate the time. Any message, social media for the fans, and anything you want to tell everyone over at FightHype?
No, ain't nothing changed, man. Everybody, man, continue to, supporting and watching FightHype, and you can find, Devin at Real Devin Haney TV on all Real Devin Haney, at Real Devin Haney, on the YouTube at Real Devin Haney TV. You know what I'm saying? You can catch me on your ass if you say the wrong thing about Devin.
This is true. Awesome. Well, I appreciate it.
All right, bro.